بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Today inshallah we're just going to go through the exam. We're just going to go through the exam. So you guys just mark the exam as we go through it inshallah. And what to do is that pull out your exam and then swap it with the person next to you and get the person next to you to mark it. Okay, and have a separate piece of paper so you can mark the scores as well. You got it? Ahmed? Did you do the exam? Have you got it? Alright, did you do the exam? Why not? Huh? You could do it online. Exam. Oh, you also got you got that problem. Got it? You should have got two things. Firstly, it says in the beginning you should have screenshot all the answers, so you should have the screenshots. But on top of that, you should have got a copy of it in your email. You got a copy in the email? Yeah? No, those that did it online, you got a copy in the email? Yeah, so I put that setting on, so you should have the email. If you can't see it, check your junk. Make sure it's the right email. Whether it's a Gmail or whether it's your other one. You got it? Come on, it's a long exam, we don't have time. Right, okay. How's the exam? Easy? It's alright. Alright. Okay. Challenging. Khair. I told you the questions, how they're going to come. It was long, yes, it was long. It wasn't necessarily the hardest if you revised. Okay, let's go through the questions inshallah. First question, very simple. What is the meaning of the Sunnah according to the four different types of scholars that we mentioned? So according to the Muhaddithun, it should be whatever is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ from his statements, actions, tacit approvals, physical characteristics, and mannerisms. It's a four marker, so for each definition you get correct, you get 1 mark. According to the Usuliyun, you would say that whatever is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ from his statements, actions, and tacit approvals. If you forgot the word tacit, it's fine, approvals is okay. What's the definition according to the Fuqaha? That which, either one of the two, either they've written that which the legislator has commanded without an authoritative command, or if they've written an action which you do, you get rewarded, and if you do that action with an intention, you get reward, and if you leave it off, then you're deserving of punishment. Both are okay. And as for the Aqadiyun, then in opposition to bid'ah, our beliefs. It's referring to the beliefs. Somebody wrote the belief of the people of the Sunnah, especially in opposition to Ahlul Bid'ah. Yes, okay. Right, so that's 4 marks, yeah? Next one, simple question. What's the meaning of sanad and matan? Sanad is a chain of narration. Matan is the text. 2 marks, 1 each. What's the difference between a sanad and isnad? There's no difference. So 1 mark, no difference. I asked that. I asked it in the revision session, so you should know that. Some people give some good guesses. Sanad is singular, isnad is plural. Sanad is one chain narration, isnad is several. That's the same thing. Give 2 statements of the scholars regarding the importance of the isnad in the religion. So as long as they've mentioned 2 statements, even if it's not 100% word for word correct, if it's got a general meaning, you give it to them. So I've got the answers in front of me, so let me read some of the answers. Abdullah Mubarak said that isnad is from the religion, and if it wasn't for it, then a person would have said what he wills. That's 1 mark. Ibn Abbas said we only began to look at the sanad when the fitna started. Now I wouldn't give that mark, because firstly it wasn't Ibn Abbas, it was Ibn Sirin, and secondly that's very, very summarized the statement. It's not the full statement. Shu'bah told Imam Zuhri to narrate, and then Imam Zuhri said, "Can you without the isnad?" Then he said, "Can you climb the roof without stairs?" Ibn Taymiyyah said, "The isnad is from the exclusivities of Islam and the specialities of Ahlul Sunnah." Good. Verily, isnad is from the religion. The isnad is a weapon of the believer. It's not the full statements, nor has he mentioned who said it. So this question, I actually put 4 marks for it. Why 4? 2 marks for the 2 names and 2 marks for the 2 statements. So if they're just written statements, then they would get 2 marks. And if they've added the correct names, then they would get 4. But this one here, verily isnad is from the religion. The isnad is the weapon of the believer. They kind of summarized them, so I'd only give 1 mark for that one. Somebody said a hadith that isnad is not trustworthy and should be avoided. We didn't mention that, so there's no marks. Okay, so just look at what we mentioned. All right, any questions? If you got a question regarding the marks, you can ask. Number 5 is 3 marker. What's the function of the Sunnah in relationship to the Quran? 3 things. Firstly, it agrees and emphasizes that which is not Quran. Number 2, explains that which is not Quran. Number 3, adds things to what is in the Quran. So agree, explain, add. Number 6, give 1 ayah in Arabic and English proving the obligation of obeying the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is 2 marks, 1 mark for the Arabic, 1 mark for the English. So you can have any Ya alladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasulah wa ulil amri minkum, or you believe, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and obey those who have authority over you. Man yuti'u Rasulah faqad ata'a Allah, whoever obeys the Messenger has obeyed Allah. Fala wa rabbika la yu'minun, till the end of the ayah. Any ayah, as long as the ayah is correct and the translation is correct, give them the mark. Yeah, we've done that one. Number 7, mention another ayah proving the obligation of obeying the Prophet by English only. So this, you just need the English. So again, any ayah as long as the English of that is correct. You okay? Who is you marking? You doing the exam now?
No, I'm just doing the right answers so the next time.
Number 8, mention 1 hadith proving the obligation of obeying the Prophet ﷺ, English only with this reference. So you can put any hadith that we took. Is there any question that you've got? Question number 8, 2 marks, 1 for the hadith, 1 for the reference. The Prophet said, everyone will enter Jannah apart from those who refuse. They asked who will refuse. He said, whoever obeys me will enter paradise, and whoever disobeys me has refused. That's an example. Rahman? Number 9, give one statement of the Salaf proving the obligations of obeying the Prophet ﷺ. So this is 2 points, 2 marks, 1 for the person, 1 for the statement. So again, I'll give you a whole list. I'll go Abu Bakr, and then Umar, and then others, and Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Malik. If you just memorize the shortest one, which is Imam Awza'i, you go with the Sunnah wherever it goes. That's the shortest, easiest one. Number 10, what are the different types of people in regards to loving the Prophet ﷺ, and explain each type. So this is 4 marks. 3 marks is for saying there are those who are negligent, those in the middle, and those who are extreme. And then the last mark is for the explanation. Those who are negligent, how? They don't give importance to what Prophet said. Those who are extreme, those who fall into bid'ah. And those in the middle, those that love the Prophet ﷺ by following him. Mention 3 signs of loving the Prophet ﷺ, so 3 marks. The main sign everyone should have written is to follow him. Then after that, you could add so many other things: to love who he loved and to hate who he hated, to increase in sending citations upon him, to learn about him, yearning and wanting to see him, and so on. Then, after that, next question is, mention 9 points showing the nobility of the science of hadith. So that's basically the whole page that I gave to you regarding the nobility of the science of hadith. So let me just read out the 9 answers. So the answers should have been, you cannot obey the Prophet ﷺ if you do not know if you don't know what he came with. By studying the best speech, it allows you to understand the Quran. You revive in the Sunnah. It's from Nasihah. You learn about the status of the companions. You attain companion status. You attain all of the virtues of seeking knowledge, especially hadith, and you study all of the sciences. So these are the 9 points. It's on page 20 on the worksheets. Okay, number 13, mention 3 ahadith showing the status of the muhaddithin with an explanation of how the hadith applies to that. So it's 4 marks. So 3 marks is for each hadith, and the 4th is to explain. Because I didn't want you guys just to say, well, that's the hadith and that's it. I want to explain. For example, this person said that this ummah is split into 73 sects, all of them in the hellfire apart from 1. And there are those who are upon what I am upon today, my sunnah. And you just leave it as that. You've got to explain how. How does that show the status of the muhaddithun? The hadith doesn't say muhaddithun. What's the answer? How does the hadith explain? Yeah. How does hadith and dalil show the status of the muhaddithun?
What? The one that you just mentioned?
Yeah.
The ones who follow my sunnah, the ones who closest to the sunnah, the ones who follow the hadith, and the status of the hadith.
Everyone claims that though. That's not ilmi answer. Everyone claims it. Who's verifying it? Huh? You mentioned it's in the notes. Imam Bukhari said that they are the people of hadith. So Imam Bukhari applied it, verified it if you want to use your terminology. So you have to explain it, each hadith. For example, the hadith نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ امْرَأً سَمِعَ مِنَّا مَقَالَهُ, or hadith that may Allah illuminate the face of the one who hears my narration. Till the end of the hadith, you got to explain. The person is making dua for those who learn hadith and convey to others, and they are the muhaddithun. Okay? You guys are students of knowledge now. You're not general people. You can just talk like that. You got to explain properly. Okay? So that is no. that Imam Bukhari and Imam Ahmad and others have said that, actually for this particular hadith, Imam Ahmad, he said, if they are not the people of hadith, then I do not know who they are. Meaning that this characteristic, those people who are the safe sect, they are the people of hadith, as mentioned by Imam Ahmad. Okay, so that was question number 13, 4 marks. Question number 14, what are the 5 types of hadith in regards to authenticity with their definitions / conditions in detail? In detail means I want everything. So obviously we know that it's sahih li dhatihi, sahih li ghayrihi, hasan li dhatihi, hasan li ghayrihi, da'if. That's the 5 marks there. And then the explanation of each of them have to be correct. So for sahih, I don't just want the 5 conditions. Because I said the word in detail for a reason. I don't want this word complete chain of narration, perfect memory, trustworthy, no contradictions, no hidden defects. I want, especially for the memory, you have to explain these 2 types. Okay, whether it's through the heart or written. Trustworthy, 2 things, taqwa and muru'ah. You have to mention that and explain what them 2 are. Okay, and then sahih li ghayri, explain what it is. That it's a hadith which is hasan li zatihi, but due to supporting narrations, it gets strengthened. Hasan li dhatihi, the same as sahih apart from one condition, which is good memory instead of perfect memory, and so on. So full explanations. So the best way to do it, if you feel like the person's answer is fully complete, then just have a read, and anytime you notice something is missed out, just knock off 1 mark. That might be easier than counting upwards, that you count downwards. For example, if they just put the 5 conditions, if they put everything, the only thing that they missed when they mentioned the 5 conditions, they didn't go into detail about the 2 types of memory and the 2 things that cause a person to be trustworthy, then just take off 2 marks. That's 2 things they missed out. Yeah? You okay? Question number 15. Mention 2 benefits of knowing if a hadith is authentic. We mentioned 3, but after 3 I just asked for 2. One is that if it's authentic, then you have to act upon it. It's obligatory to act upon it. Also, if you know sahih, then another benefit is that you can give preference to this hadith over others when they are contradicting one another. One's hasan, one's sahih, what do? You can give the sahih one precedence. And we explained how that works and stuff. So these are 2 answers. There was a third answer. What was the third one? No, it's prohibited to leave it off, except if there's a dalil to show otherwise. Question number 16. What are the levels of authentic hadith? So this is 7 marks, so the 7 levels. That which is first, number 1, that which has been narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. Number 2, by Bukhari only. Number 3, narrated by Muslim only. Number 4, narrated on the conditions of Bukhari and Muslim, but not by them. Number 5, on the conditions of Bukhari, but not by him. Number 6, on the conditions of Muslim, but not by him. And then number 7, on the conditions of other than Bukhari and Muslim.
Or if someone, like the definition of muttafaqun alayh.
This wrong, muttafaqun alayh?
No, they wrote both Bukhari and Muslim same.
That's fine. The most authentic chain, or the golden chain, is the hadith of Malik and Nafi' and Ibn Umar an Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as mentioned by Imam Muslim. Evaluate this statement. What are the answers you got? There's 3 marks. There's a number of things you could mention. So evaluate. I mean, somebody said this statement. Let's say I've said this statement. Critique this statement. Okay, number of things. Firstly, it wasn't Imam Muslim who said it. It was Imam Bukhari. That's the first point. Okay, so I wrote the wrong name on purpose. It was Imam Bukhari. Yeah, well, did you notice that, did you? Number 2 is that we say, yes, this is from the strongest chains. But number 3, what's more precise is not to say that one chain in particular is the strongest or the most authentic or the golden chain, but rather, because it's too difficult to verify that, but rather what's best to say is that this is the most authentic hadith, either by place or by person. Most authentic chain going back to Abu Hurairah, or the most authentic chain in Egypt, like that. That'll be easier. Right. Number 18. Name 5 books which have gathered authentic hadith. So you should have Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban, Mustadrak al-Hakim. Yeah, Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban, and Mustadrak al-Hakim. If you didn't write it in order, it's fine, because I didn't ask for it in order. But that's 5 points. What's the definition of Hasan according to Imam Tirmidhi? Who knows? Can't be a liar in there. It can't contradict others. It has to be with supporting narrations. Good. What's the correct meaning of Imam Tirmidhi's statement? Hasan Sahih. And who mentioned this meaning? So the previous question, number 19, is about Hasan only. That's 3 marks. 20 is about 3 points as well. 1 point is for explaining that the meaning is, if that hadith has 1 chain of narration, then it is Hasan or Sahih. Second point, if it has more than 1 chain, if it has 2 chains of narration, then one is Sahih and the other is Hasan. And the third point is to mention that this is the statement of Hafiz Ibn Hajar. Name 8 differences between the Quran and Hadith Qudsi. This is question number 21. Okay, so simple, 8 marks. If they've written 8 differences, give them 8 points. So for example, the miraculous nature is for the Quran, not for the Hadith Qudsi. A sentence from the Quran is an ayah, and Hadith is just a sentence. You cannot recite the Quran in major impurity. You can recite Quran in Salah and Hadith Qudsi. The challenge to bring something to the Quran is only for the Quran. The Quran is attributed to Allah, whereas Hadith Qudsi is attributed to Prophet ﷺ and Allah. The Quran is mutawatir, Hadith Qudsi isn't. You get 10 rewards for every letter that you recite in the Quran, not for Hadith Qudsi. In regards to the Quran, you can't recite it in major impurity, but Hadith Qudsi you can. And also in minor impurity, there's a khilaf regarding the touching the Quran. The Quran requires istinja before it. It doesn't. It's best to just be on wudu. A lot of people think when they have to do wudu, you have to do istinja before it. You don't. You only do istinja if you use the bathroom. Okay, next one. Number 22. When is a statement of a companion giving the ruling of marfu' hukman mention the conditions? So 3 marks. So when is a statement of a companion giving the ruling of marfu' hukman? He doesn't speak. He speaks about something where he cannot use his own intellect. Secondly, it's not something from the Arabic language. And number 3, he doesn't take from Isra'iliyat. Next one. When is a statement of a companion and proof mention the conditions in whose opinion it is? So this is 4 marks. 1 for each condition and then 1 for who said it. So Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah said it, and he said it has to be from the scholars of the Sahaba. He can't go against the Quran or Hadith, and he can't contradict another Sahabi. What's the difference between maqtu' and munqati'? Maqtu' is about the text. Who said the text? That goes back to the tabi'i. Munqati' is talking about the chain, that there's somebody missing in the chain. That's 1 mark. Some people have said just the maqtu' focus on the matan and munqati' focus on the isnad. That's part of the explanation, but you need to expand a bit more. So I'll give you half a mark for that one. Where can one find mawqufat and maqtu'at? So musannafat, musannaf Abdul Razak, musannaf Ibn Abi Shaybah. 1 mark. What are the 4 conditions of a narration to be considered mutawatir? A lot of people in each level, impossible for them to gather upon a lie, and attribute it to something tangible. Give me 1 example of a hadith which is mutawatir in meaning. Raising the hands in dua. Good. That's 27. Okay, that's 28. So long as they give a correct answer. Some people have said, Al-innama al-'amalu binniyat. That's a gharib, that's not mutawatir. Whoever lies about something I've said, should ready his place in the fire. It's not the exact wording of the hadith, but that's something which is mutawatir in wording, not in meaning. I'll go back to that question 1 second. Hadith of Shafa'ah, mutawatir in meaning. Number 27. Who added mutawatir and ahad in the books of hadith, and where did he take it from? Khatib al-Baghdadi, he took it from the Usuliyun. So that's 2 marks. Khatib al-Baghdadi, he took it from the Usuliyun. Number 29. If someone said to you, I reject khabar ahad in aqidah as it doesn't give me certainty, mention 2 points and how you respond to them. Firstly, it goes against ijma' of the salaf. Secondly, what else would you say? Is that right? What else would you say? The Prophet sent individual sahaba to teach the whole religion. Now what else? Yeah, Hajjatul Wada', the Prophet said, "Ballighu anni walau ayah," and he did not make it a condition to be more than one. Yeah, overwhelming assumption, you act upon it, you don't need certainty. I don't know if I mentioned this in class, but the ulama also say that khabar ahad can reach the level of certainty as well if there's other external factors as well. For example, if it's in Bukhari or Muslim, that gives you certainty. Even if it's ahad, because the whole ummah has agreed upon it. Or if it's a hadith which has been narrated by like imams, not just normal narrators, normal authentic narrators, like imams, khalas, you accept it. Right, number 30. Mention 2 doubts in the Quran you and answer those doubts. Any 2 doubts that we mentioned. So somebody says, "Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun." We have brought down the dhikr and we will preserve it. Dhikr is referring to the Quran. We say no, it's referring to the Quran and Sunnah. And we can see the Sunnah being preserved. If they use some ahadith that we mentioned, they fabricated. If they use the ayah regarding everything's in the book, the one ayah was referring to the Mahfuz. And then the other one which is referring to the Quran, you say, well, it's referring to the Quran itself tells us to follow the Prophet ﷺ. So any doubt that you bring any 2 doubts and answers, that is 4 points. So 2 for the doubts and 2 for the answers. Number 31. There are hadith which prohibit the writing of hadith and others which permit it. How the scholars dealt with these narrations, mention all the opinions which are strongest and what the consensus is regarding. So 6 marks. So look, you get 1 mark for mentioning that the strongest opinion is you get 1 mark for mentioning the first opinion, which is that this was mansukh, it's abrogated. And you get another mark for saying that this is the strongest. Then you get another mark for saying the second opinion is the ulama combine and they try to reconcile. And then you get another mark for mentioning some of those ways that they reconcile it. Some say the prohibition is only regarding on the same page. Some have said whilst the Quran is being revealed. So you mention a few, that's fine. The 5th mark is to mention the third opinion, which is that it's a statement, it's mawquf, the statement of Abu Sa'id, and that's the weakest. And then the last point 6 is the ijma'. What's the ijma'? After the initial khilaf, then there was ijma' that it's permissible to write. So there was a bit of khilaf early on, but then after that, there was ijma' that you were allowed to write hadith. Name 3 companions who had scrolls and mention the name of one of them and who it belonged to. So you could mention, if somebody's wrote Abu Bakr, I was waiting for that. If you wrote Abu Bakr, I'm not going to accept it, because we mentioned what? That's not authentic, it's not authentic. So who would you write? Ali ibn Abi Talib. And his was called Sahiha, the authentic scroll. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, his is called the truthful scroll, the Sadiqah. Who else do we have? Samura Jundub. No. Yeah. Let me check. But we have Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. Yeah, you have Samura ibn Jundub, صح. Sa'ad ibn Ubadah Ansari, Abdullah ibn Abbas. The 5 that you could have mentioned. If Abu Hurairah was only with the Prophet ﷺ for 4 years, then how did he narrate more hadith than any of the companions? Even Abu Bakr and Umar mentioned 9 answers. Right? So obviously this is 9 marks for the 9 answers. And I actually made a video for it separately. You might have seen it at Medina College. No, so who knows what the 9 answers are? Huh? Come on quickly. The quality time that he spent with the Prophet ﷺ, the quality time he spent outside against the Prophet ﷺ, how later on he passed away after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. And during that time he wasn't as busy as the other companions. He had extremely good memory. None of the other companions doubted him. It's not conditioned to hear directly from the Prophet ﷺ. You can hear from other Sahaba. The Prophet ﷺ made dua for him. And if you do the calculations with the numbers, it's very easy to memorize and narrate that many hadith. Yeah, so there are 9 answers. How many marks? 9 marks. Who are the 4 Abdullahs? In class, I think I pronounced it Ubadalah. But I asked a few sheikhs later on because a couple of brothers pointed it out. It's not Ubadalah, it's Abadilah. So it's not a Dhamma on the Ain, it's a Fatha on the Ain. So let's change that in your notes. Abadilah. Why did I write Ubadalah? I don't know. For a long time I wrote Ubadalah. Maybe I heard it somewhere. But anyways, I asked a few sheikhs and they said, Shaykh Asim Qariyuti and others, it says Abadilah. With the Fatha on the Ain and a Kasr on the Dal. Anyways, who are the 4 Abdullahs? Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn As, and Abdullah ibn Zubair. Name the 7 companions who narrated the most hadith and how much did they narrate. So obviously this is 14 points, i.e. 7 for the names and 7 for the numbers. So Abu Hurairah, 5374. That's 2 marks. Abdullah ibn Umar, 2630. Anas ibn Malik, 2286. Aisha, 2210. Abdullah ibn Abbas, 1660. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, 1170. Before him, Jabir ibn Abdullah, 1540. Then Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, 1170. No. So they were the 7 with the numbers. Yeah, then don't get the mark for that number. So you get 1 mark for each name and 1 mark for each number. So if they got the name right but the number is slightly wrong, then only 1 mark for that name and number instead of 2. Some Orientalists use a statement of Ibn Hajar and Suyuti where they mentioned that the first one to document hadith was Imam al-Zuhri to attack the trustworthiness of the isnad. Mention 2 points on how you would refute this. What would you say? It's referring to the official documentation because there were scrolls before that, and in simple terms, what are these guys on about? They don't have any chains themselves and they're trying to attack our chains. Number 37. Where can we now find the scrolls of Hammam ibn Munabbih? 1 mark with the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. Name the 9 books of hadith in order. Al-Kutub al-Tis'a. It has to be in order. So you have to write Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan Tirmidhi, Sunan Nisa'i, Sahih Majah, Musnad Ahmad, Muwatta Imam Malik, Sunan Ad-Darimi. Name the 2 reasons why Imam Malik called his book Muwatta. You have to give full explanations. It's easy going because the Khalifa asked him to write a book, so it's easy for the people to go back to, and then he wrote it. And number 2, it goes to the meaning of agreement because the 70 fuqaha agreed upon this book before he published it. Name 2 riwayat of Muwatta Imam Malik. The main one is Yahya ibn Yahya al-Laythi, al-Andalusi. You have Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. These are the 2 most famous ones. But then there's others, Qa'nabi, Abdullah ibn Wahab, and others. What are the 2 explanations of Ibn Abdul Barr from Muwatta Aqwal and what's the difference between the 2? So you get 2 marks for the names. And I don't necessarily need the whole name because not every student of knowledge remembers the whole name. As long as you know the first word, that's how they're famous. Al-Istidhkar and Tamheed. Al-Istidhkar is, so you get 1 mark for Istidhkar, 1 mark for Tamheed. And then the 3rd mark is for the difference, which is that Al-Istidhkar is regarding fiqh and Tamheed is regarding hadith or chains of narration. Hadith or chains of narration. Number 43. What is the meaning of Musnad when we refer to Musnad Imam Ahmad It's one mark. It's a book which is ordered upon the names of the Sahaba. A book which is ordered upon the names of the Sahaba. How many ahadith of Muslim and Ahmad have? 1 point. For this one, I'll be a bit lenient. If you write 27,000, it's fine. Even if you get the exact number, 27,000 is fine. Number 45. Does Musnad Ahmad contain fabricated hadith? 2 marks. To say, the first mark is to say no, the book itself does not contain fabricated hadith. However, those fabricated hadith can be found in the additions of his son. That's the second mark. Number 46. What's the full name of Sahih Bukhari and the full name of Sahih Muslim? I'm trying to see who's got it. Some people know. What's the full name of Sahih Bukhari? Huh? Good. And Muslim? Don't know. So, just to make sure I don't make a mistake. Bukhari, Al-Jami' Al-Musnad Al-Sahih Al-Mukhtasar min Umuri Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa sunanihi wa ayyamih. Al-Jami' Al-Musnad Al-Sahih Al-Mukhtasar min Umuri Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa sunanihi wa ayyamihi. As for Sahih Muslim, then it is known as Sahih Muslim, then even this one doesn't have the full name. But anyways, Al-Musnad Al-Sahih, Al-Musnad Al-Sahih Al-Mukhtasar, that's what mean. من السنن بنقل عدل عن العدل عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So that is how many marks? That's 2 marks. Number 47 mentioned 5 differences between Bukhari and Muslim. So you can say firstly the conditions Bukhari is stricter. Bukhari has got fiqh in his chapter headings. Muslim didn't physically write chapter headings. Muslim uses ha or tahweel, Bukhari doesn't as much. Muslim differentiates between hadathana, akhbarana, Bukhari doesn't. Imam Bukhari will only mention the half of the hadith which is needed. Imam Muslim will mention the whole hadith. Imam Muslim will mention more than one narration of the hadith. Bukhari will just mention that one narration and only mention a different chain of narration if it's mentioned in a different place. Yeah, so these are some of the differences between Bukhari and Muslim. So just mention 5. That's enough. What's the main explanations of Bukhari and Muslim? Who authored them? So this is only 1 mark. Why? Because it's easy. It's easy. Which is Fath al-Bari by Ibn Hajar, Al-Minhaj by Al-Nawawiyyah. 49. Why did Bukhari author Sahih? 3 reasons. Due to the spread of weak hadith, due to the dream that he had where he was swatting flies from the Prophet ﷺ. So my brother told me I kept saying squatting, which is the wrong word. Swatting, no. Swatting flies from the Prophet ﷺ. And the third is the advice of his teacher, Ishaq ibn Rahuya. What's the meaning if a book is called Al-Jami'? Al-Jami'. So I put 9 marks. Okay? The reason is that 1 extra mark is actually me being generous. If you wrote that it's a book which contains more than 1 topic, more than just fiqh, that would be the 1 mark. And if you mention all 8, that would be the other 8 marks. If you didn't mention that first statement, but you just mentioned all 8, automatically I'll give you the extra mark. Yeah, so what are the 8? So we have ahkam, which is fiqh, you have aqaid, you have tafsir, you have battles with seerah, you have virtues, you have asharat al-sa'a, signs of the judgment and trials and tribulations, you have heart softeners, and you have adab, etiquettes. So these 8, right? Yeah. No. If Sahih. Okay. Number 51 is if Sahih Bukhari has mu'allaqat, then how is it Sahih? So 2 points. If you don't remember the exact numbers, it's fine. But the main, just very, very summarized answer that I wanted was that that all of the mu'allaqat are authentic, apart from the ones which he did not say with jazm, like with conviction, but they're not part of the book anyway, so it doesn't affect it. It's in chapter headings. Did Imam Muslim write his book upon chapters? 1 mark. What's the answer? You say yes in terms of meaning, no in terms of wording. I want the whole answer. I don't just want yes or no. I want yes and no. Yes in terms of meaning, no in terms of wording. Number 53. What is a book which is a sunan? A book which has a hadith marfu'ah ordered upon the chapters of fiqh. If you just written order upon the chapters of fiqh, I'll give it. Well, mustadrak and mustakhraj, 2 marks, 1 for each. Mustadrak is where you take the conditions of one book and you find all the hadith that fulfill those conditions and are not in that book. Mustakhraj is when you look at one book and all the hadith which are in there, you find other chains of narrations for that same book. Yeah? That's 2 marks, 1 for each. Why does the Mustadrak of Hakim have so many weak ahadith? 2 marks, because he wrote it at the end of his life. And secondly, he didn't revise it. What's the difference between Sharh Mushkil al-Athar and Ma'ani al-Athar? Sharh Mushkil, how many marks? Oh, 1 mark. So Mushkil al-Athar is reconciling between contradicting hadith or seemingly contradicting hadith, and Ma'ani al-Athar are hadith aiding the Hanafi madhab. The missed numbers, what did I miss out now? I missed out hadith number, question number? Oh, in the actual exam? So, which one? 34?
You've not got 39 or 50.
I've not got 39. 38 and then, oh, okay. Oh, it happens, yar. It's fine. Right. I don't think you understand how I just make it like just before the salah. No, it's done, right, send it out. Okay. What number are we on now? 7. The difference between Mushkil al-Athar and Ma'ani al-Athar, I answered that. Mushkil al-Athar, reconciling between seemingly contradicting hadith, and Ma'ani al-Athar, a hadith which aid the Hanafi madhab. 1 mark. 58. Name one book which talks about narrators with its author. One second, let's see how many people got it. So somebody's wrote Al-Kamal by Abdul Ghani Maqdisi, I'll give it. Somebody's wrote Ibn Hajar, one guy wrote Ibn Taymiyyah, I don't know. Hammam ibn Munaghib, Taqrib by An-Nawawi, la, it's Mustalah Hadith. The book by Imam Bukhari, he has got a book called Tarikh Baghdad, but I'm not giving you the mark for that. Nobody has got it. So only one that got it was the first guy who wrote Al-Kamal. You could have Kamal, you could have Tahdhib al-Kamal by Al-Mizzi. You have Tahdhib al-Tahdhib by Ibn Hajar, Taqrib al-Tahdhib by Ibn Hajar, Tarikh Baghdad by Bukhari, Mizan al-I'tidal by Al-Dhahabi. A few. Name one book which talks about the companions and the author. Now somebody, okay, Sir A'lam al-Nubala, if you notice, I didn't actually mention it in that list. Why? Because it's not specific about companions. Sir A'lam al-Nubala is a biography of all of the scholars from the beginning of Islam until the 7th century. Yeah? It's not specific about the companions. I want to hear a book which is specific about the companions. So you could have Al-Isabah by Ibn Hajar. You could have Al-Isti'ab, صح. And you could have Ust al-Ghaba. These are 3 books. What are the 2 meanings of Gharib and Hadith? And give the name of the book of Gharib by Ibn al-Athir and mention which meaning of Gharib it is about. So 4 marks. The first is to give the 2 different meanings. Either Gharib means difficult words, ambiguous words, or it means a hadith which the lowest person in one of the chains is 1. That's the 2 meaning. What's the full name of Ibn al-Athir's book? An-Nihaya fi Gharib al-Hadith. An-Nihaya fi Gharib al-Hadith. And what does it mean Gharib in his title? Does it mean where the lowest number is 1, or does it mean difficult words? Difficult words. That's your 4th mark. Name 3 books of Ahkam with the authors. So you get 3 marks for mentioning the books, and you get 1 mark for mentioning all the names correctly. Ahkam by Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi. What else? We need 3. Bulugh al-Maram by Ibn Hajar. What else? Al-Muharrar by Ibn Abdul Hadi. Al-Muntaqa by the grandfather Shaykh al-Islam, Mujahideen Abu al-Barakat Ibn Taymiyyah. Even if you're a Sunnah Nabi Dawood, I would agree with it. So that's 4 marks. 3 for the books and 1 mark for all the names, if they're correct. Should have made it 6, but until that's 4. Name 5 books of Mustalah al-Hadith. I actually asked that in the revision question session, so it's the exact same question. Huh? Then everyone stood up, yes. You could have Bayquniyah, you can have Muqaddimah ibn Salah, you could have Muhaddith al-Fasil by Rama Hurmuzi, you could have Alfiyat al-Suyuti, Alfiyat al-Iraqi, Al-Taqrib al-Nawawi, Tadrib al-Rawi by al-Suyuti, Nukhbat al-Fikr by Ibn Hajar, Nuzhat al-Nazar by Ibn Hajar, Al-Nukat Ali ibn Salah by Ibn Hajar. Yeah? Any 5 books. Who was the first one to write a book in Mustalah al-Hadith, a full book? Ar-Rama Hurmuzi. Ar-Rama Hurmuzi. 1 mark. What's the name, kunya, laqab of Imam Nawawi? When did he pass away? His name is Yahya bin Sharaf. His laqab was Muhyiddin. His kunya was Abu Zakaria. And he passed away 676. All of that is 1 mark. So if you got any of those wrong, you got 0 marks. Oh, subhanallah. Okay, I apologize to the online students. I was speaking all that time and I was on mute the whole time. I was on mute the whole time. It's fine, alhamdulillah it's recorded, sorry about that, just follow the recording. We're just going through the exam today. Inshallah, next session we'll go through the first hadith. For a second I was like, can you see my screen right now? And then I realized, oh wait, hang on a minute, I forgot to. Oh, they replied, it's on YouTube, so it's fine. Okay, alhamdulillah. Right. Okay. Okay, name 5 books that Imam al-Nawawi has authored. Go on. This book, 40 Hadith Imam al-Nawawi. Okay, what else? Minhaj. What else? Riyadh al-Salihin. What else? Al-Adhkar. What else? Al-Majmu' Sharh al-Muhadhab. What else? That's how many? 6? 5 we mentioned? So you got those 5. What else is anyone got? التبيان في أدام حملة القرآن, منهاج الطالبين, روضة الطالبين. So these are all books you can mention. 67. Who was the first one to write a book containing 40 hadith? When did he pass away? Abdullah Mubarak passed away 181. Okay. And the 67 is 2 marks. Number 66. How would you prove that Imam al-Nawawi was not Ash'ari? So 3 marks with the 3 points, which is that he retracted, he didn't have the methodology, therefore if he said something wrong, it's a mistake. It doesn't make him Ash'ari. 68. Mention a story in how this book was compiled. Discuss whether this is plagiarism, and mention a benefit we can take away from this story. So the story is that Ibn Salah had his gathering where he mentioned 26 hadith, and then Imam Nawawi added 14. It's not plagiarism. Why? Because Imam Nawawi mentioned it himself later that he took these from Ibn Salah. And the benefit that we can take from the story is attribute the benefit to the person who said it, and that shows sincerity. No.
Was it 14 or 16?
16. What did I say? I said 14? 16. 26 plus 16, 42. Now, anyways, number 69. What are the 4 specialities of Arba'in Nawawiyyah? Huh? What question is this? Question number 69. We said all the specialities, that these are hadith, fundamental. Nah, what else?
Most authentic.
Authentic, what else? Jami' al-Kalim, what else? Easy to memorize. Easy to memorize. Number 70, why did Imam Nawawi author this book? So this is 4 points. 4 points. Why? That there are 3 reasons. That's 3 marks, yeah? So you say, to attain the virtues of spreading hadith, following the Salaf, and due to the hadith which mentions the virtue of compiling 40 hadith, but it's weak. So these are 3 reasons. Okay, where's the 4th point come? Is that if you clarify that the main reason is the first one, which is to attain the virtues of hadith. That's the main one. A lot of people think that the main reason was due to the weak hadith. But it's not. He says it himself that it's not. And then there's feedback which is 1 mark. Alhamdulillah, I went through it quite quick. I thought it might take longer. Right. So what to do, inshallah, I'm going to stop the recording here. Now, count up your marks, and when you've counted your marks, I'm going to send Brother Qasim's number in the group. Everyone send him your name and your mark so that we can record it. What I've decided to do, Aman, don't finish it, don't stop the live stream until I finish speaking. What we're going to do, inshallah, this Thursday, as you can see, less students and so on. I was thinking this Thursday, we'll give the day off, and we'll start next Tuesday. Why? Because there are a few people still saying that we've not done the exam and so on, so it gives everyone ample time. And it gives them time to mark those who aren't here. Also, you need to start memorizing the hadith. So, I think some of you have not even started memorizing the hadith whatsoever. So, since it's the first hadith, I'll give you some extra time, even though I've already given you how many weeks. What I'll do is I'll send the recording. I'll send the hadith Arabic, and I'll send the recording of me reciting it so that you can listen to it, how it's pronounced, and use that to help you to memorize. And then on Tuesday, inshallah, we will begin. If you know anyone that used to attend the lessons but no longer attending, tell them that if they've not studied the introduction, it's fine. They can still understand the hadith. Okay, so just tell them, look, technically, this intro that I gave to you, I did it as a full separate course before. And it was a lot longer. I did it with you guys at 10 lessons. I did it in 20 lessons with them, a lot more detail. And most people, or even the ulama that explain the book, they don't mention this intro that I mentioned. So they just start with the hadith straight away. So like there's no harm whatsoever in a person starting from next Tuesday, inshallah. So message all the brothers. Where the Kurdish brothers gone? Dada Ahmed, Brother Muhammad, Ranma, all the other brothers. So if you know anyone that used to attend and no longer are, then you encourage them, inshallah. Okay, so count up your marks and then send the message bismillah ta'ala, and I'll see all of you next for Arba'in next Tuesday, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.